Alright, well, I'm back with another update. A nice update, I should say. I got the back window bar in. Yeah, it's really high. But, let me explain what I did. See, it was pretty much impossible to get that in there. This is out of our last car that was pre-ran, and it's kind of easy to put in. But I knew it was going to suck on this one because it's really long. And, everybody always puts their window bar up top and then welds it on there. But I mean, that's kind of a stupid idea because I mean, it can just rip off there, but if you put underneath like that, then it really can't rip off. And also, I'm bolting it right there and on the other side, so they can't rip off there. But what I did to get this in here was I tack welded it right here on the top, and then put a come along on the back bar and put it around here, and I welded the chain on, just tacked it on there so it couldn't slide up. And it was really originally right there, and then I just cranked it all the way in there because it can only be 6 inches away from right here where the bottom window goes. And right there it's about 4 inches away, so I'm in the clear right there. And I just welded it in solid. Got most of that back done. I just got to do a little bit of work on each corner. And then I'm just going to weld the seam of this all the way across. But that's pretty much all I've gotten done on this since the last update. And the new update is this frame. It's out of that car that was in the last video. But gotten all the A-arm stuff off. And we're going to take a bunch of the stuff off that brown Crown Vic up on the hill, that 80s style, and put on the front right there. But we've already tilted it. And no, I didn't make a video, but I'll pretty much give you the idea of what I did. Put the jack stand right here, not under that, under here, both sides. Took a measurement from the ground to right here. Wrote down that measurement. And then, however many inches you want to tilt it, which in our case, I think we tilted it 5 inches because it was a Vic. It didn't need tilted too much. But we went 5 inches, and then, so we took it from the measurement, subtracted 5 inches, took the torch, cut this weld right here and down there, cut that weld down there, all the way around and down there. Put the jack under the middle. Put the jack under the middle right there, a few inches below. And then after we cut all the welds on both sides, we didn't cut the bottoms because it's not that big of an issue. It just holds it all together, but you don't need to cut the bottoms. Pushed it down 5 inches to the measurement what it would have been if we subtracted 5 inches, and then welded it all back. And that's pretty much all we did. And right now, I'm getting ready to pull out the rear end. It's just a stock 8.8. It's got nice brakes on it though. Might have to do something with those if I can. I might find a guy to buy this rear end for like Mustangs and stuff. But I don't know. I'll be back with another update or either the next clip. I don't know. We'll see. Well, I got the rear end out. Flip the frame up on its side so I can check the bottom of it, make sure there's no rust holes anywhere. Now the frame is, I mean, it's got a little flake rust on it, which is nothing major. Just the top layer just fairly skimming off everywhere. Now the only major hole I found, which is pretty much the only hole I found, is right here. And in the next few clips I'll show you how I fixed that. Here's the template that I made. Just gonna take the torch and just cut around that and clean it up with a grinder real nice. Well, I got it cut out, grinded down real nice, and I welded it on there. It welded really well. The only problem I had is there was a little bit more rust right there. that I couldn't cover, so I'm just going to cut out a little tiny triangle and just weld it down to about right there, like from there to there to there. Just cover that little bit of rust up there. I gotta hammer it first and see what else there, but it's not much. Just burn it through a little bit. Well, the repair is finally done. Welded it all down through there. Every time I got done with the plate, it seemed like I found more rust, but I've hammered everywhere around there now, and that's about as much as it's getting. What I did here was I welded it right there, and I stuck a bolt through this hole, through that one. I tack welded on the end of this plate and then hit it so it formed down in there. Took the bolt off, welded it, and I welded like a champ. So pretty much all I've got left to do is this frame. Well, what I'm going to do next is I got to re-bolt that bar right there, back on there, and then I gotta I gotta flip the frame back down, do a little bit more work, get those A-arms put on there, put the rear end in, and that should be about it for the frame, and then put the body back on. Cross member pieces here on my frame, I put pieces of angle on there, but that was only because they were really rusty, these things. But these ones are in pretty good shape. I'm probably just going to put a bead right there and on the other side, and then we'll just use these stock because, I mean, they're in pretty good shape, not rusty at all. But I got to do a little bit more hammering just to make sure, go over all the flaky spots, make sure there's no holes. Do a little welding on this back here. Then it'll be ready for the body, and that'll be a different video. Alright, well, I'm just going to put this on the end of the video, but I just got a bunch of work done. This is just all in one day's work. Got the new A-arms on there, fit on there perfectly, got them slid all the way forward on both sides, that way you get the max height out of them. Didn't put any shocks back in them because you don't need to. And on the springs, all I did was, like when the A-arms were unbolted and that was laid down, I had the frame lifted up really high, and I took an engine hoist, hooked it onto that hook. Well, before that was even there, I hooked it onto the frame in a hole, and then I ran the chain down here to where the A-arm would have been and hooked it on that. I just cranked it on up, and then when it got so high where it needed to be, I started the bolts and then popped the spring back where it needed to go. But they're in there just how they need to be. All I gotta do is weld them all the way around like I did the ones on my Lincoln, except these will be a lot easier because they're the old style. That's the way mine are. That's why mine are like they are, is to make them like that somewhat. But yeah, it's all tightened down and everything. Welded the A-arms forward just now. It's actually kind of weird. The heat was turned up real nice. And I did perfect C's, but this side really only took a rod and a half. This side took like 3 rods. I don't know why, but I mean, they're both welded the same. They both welded just alike. But it's tilted already. It's kind of angled down a lot right now. But when we get it welded solid, taller tires, and the back cranked down, then it'll be pretty much perfect. And I got all the tie rods and stuff back on there, all that stuff. And rear end's in. Got it all in there, every bolt's in there. The top 2 are tight, but I didn't tighten the bottom 2 yet. But that's the update for now.